Today I'm going to look at the Tenba Fulton 10 liter camera backpack. This won't really be a peer review. It'll be a bit of discussion again about the camera bag designs, and as a reference point, I will probably continue comparing the bag to Manfrotto Camera Street Medium. Yeah, just to show this bag side by side. You notice that it is kind of a smaller and narrower bag, and carrying less camera equipment, carrying less non-camera equipment in general. And so that's why I was searching for these kind of bags, as you saw from my last video about the Manfrotto Camera Street Small. Okay, so just to go over some of the features of the backpack. Again, this is one of those hybrid camera section, non-camera section part. In this one, the camera section is on the bottom, and the non-camera section is at the top. The good thing about this one is that the camera section is only accessible from the back, so that is good for security purposes, and you can see just generally the size of the compartments. The top section is for non-camera use, so this one is different in that it's now this kind of roll top type design with a clasp here. And you can see inside is just one big empty space. So there's one main front pocket, and it's quite large. I do like the fact that it has organization pockets inside. And this comes with a section for like a 10 or 11 inch tablet. And my iPad does fit inside here as well. Lastly, there's two side pockets, but unlike the Manfrotto Street, these are not zippered. So this one is a stretch pocket. This one is a stretch mesh pocket, and this one on the other side is also an open pocket, not non-zippered. I mean, there's a Velcro to seal it, but the purpose of this is to hold tripods. That's why it's a bit more reinforced than the other side. So that's the main features of the bag. So now I'll just kind of go over some of the features that I like and don't like, and discuss some of the design elements of it. So the one thing, as I mentioned, is I like the fact that it is back accessible, the camera compartment section. I also think that the bottom loading is a bit better than having it on the top, like in the other camera bag I reviewed, the Manfrotto Street Small. So that's one. I'm not such a big fan of roll tops. I prefer just a standard zipper type entry. The other thing as well is inside here there isn't really no organization, so you kind of just everything will just kind of slosh around at the top. The good thing about roll tops a little bit is that you do have some room to expand the section as you need. So that I guess is good. Kind of when in a pinch you can always expand it, and then it's good for such a small bag like this, because maybe more often than not you will run into the case where you kind of overstuff the bag temporarily. Yeah, one of the biggest things I can mention is, again, back to the comfort and the wearability. If I wear this backpack, it kind of, first of all, so it has that problem where this bag sits kind of wide on my chest or on my back, and it's not that comfortable. Again, the backpack straps are a bit too wide and too thick for a bag this size. So the other thing I want to mention is how it sits on the back, and I think this would be the biggest reason why I don't like to use this bag. Otherwise, I think it's actually almost a perfect bag for the size that I was looking for. I'll show you how this sits on my back. It's a little bit hard to show, but again, the main problem I have with this bag is it always doesn't sit flush on my back, and it's always resting just on the bottom part. So the bag seems to want to rest just on the bottom part of the bag against my back. So if it really did have a lot of weight, it kind of all gets pressed there. And I suspect that this problem about not sitting flush on the back, as well as the backpack straps kind of sitting so wide, has to do with the fact that either the bag is too short or too narrow relative to, let's say, the standard backpacks that I'm used to. Those two reasons might be related to each other. So maybe there is a practical limit to how small a bag that you can wear depending on your body size. So I think that's really the biggest reason why I might not use this bag regularly. It's really that I feel like that the bag only rests on this part of my back, and all the weight gets kind of pushed just here, and this top section is off my back. So on top of that, because the bag is a bit small, it does sit kind of high, and so this part where that would rest on my back is actually is the middle of my back as opposed to maybe the lower part. And so I think it's a weird kind of feeling. So that's really my main negative criticism about the bag. Otherwise, I think the bag is actually quite good. I'll mention a few more things now that for me, it's not preferable, but I totally understand that it is kind of a design choice, and maybe it doesn't bother people. Like I said, I'm not a fan of the roll top. I would prefer a non-roll top design. I think the straps is a little too wide, and maybe even a little too thick for the weight. As I've mentioned in previous videos, I really don't see the point of having chest straps for a bag so small. Just in case I wanted to sell this in the future, or maybe give it away or something like that. That's why I didn't cut off the chest strap, or else I really would have for my own personal use. So to continue the discussion about the over-engineered nature, I would add these compression straps. Like, I don't think these are necessary. First of all, the camera section is quite rigid already, so I don't think the compression straps help there. So really, what are the compression straps compressing? I think maybe part of the use of the compression strap, at least on this side with the tripod side, might be so that it holds the top half of the tripod. That might be why it's there, but yeah, otherwise it's extraneous. The handle is, again, a little bit too thick for what's needed for this weight. I mean, it feels comfortable and everything, but yeah, it's like almost it's more than a centimeter in thickness of pure foam for such a small bag, right? Compared to, let's say, that other bag that I mentioned, the bigger bag, it's just really that, two pieces of nylon folded on each other with a little bit of felt for, this is perfectly usable, right? It doesn't need to be this thick for a much smaller bag. And then the last thing I would say is, I'm not a fan of the canvas thing, the coated canvas. I think they're trying to go for the retro hiking type look with this kind of bag, but yeah, I think if they just use this, a more just a nylon product. Otherwise, I think it's actually quite a decent bag. I think if it fits your needs in terms of camera use and non-camera use, the organizational pockets and so on, and that the bag is actually comfortable in terms of keeping in mind what I told you about the straps and how it sits on your back and how the weight feels, how the weight distribution feels when it's on your when you put it on. If that stuff works out for you, I think it's actually a totally great bag to use. The only reason it's not for me is that weight distribution on my back part that I really can't get over. Yeah, so that was just a quick discussion about this bag, the Fulton 10-liter backpack. We'll continue again next time with other bags.